Boom, right now on the Tru-Mon show, once again with my great brother, Midas. How are you?
All right, nice to be here. And as we continue the dialogue,
Yeah, it's a
and
continuum of what we do.
yes, and greetings to all the listeners and whoever joining on the show. Hope you all are having a wonderful day as you perceive with what the program is.
Yeah, no, we're going to have a great reasoning again. Like I said, there's a little thunderstorm probably moving in my way, but Rasmidas told me, he said if there wouldn't be storm, electrical storm or thunderstorm, maybe there's something wrong with the magnetic field of the earth. So yeah, it's in fact very true. They are necessary, and no,
Yes. Everything works for its purpose. Everything suits its purpose within creation. So we just, when we see those things, instead of we get mad, we just give thanks and praise because we know that the engine of the universe is working.
exactly. So today we're gonna go again with the review of the 33 keys to unlock your full essence.
Yes.
Uh, we're going to start with key number 23, and it's wash your brain, question everything. And when I say wash your brain, it's not just a normal wash. No. I think we need a deep water wash with the triple soap and triple scrub. And after that, probably a triple rinse also, just to wash off all the nonsense accumulated with all those years of programming. Because I say wash your brain because often I've been saying, "Oh, we need a brainwash. We need to work. We are brainwash." Or I don't think it's really the case. No, we're mostly very much pro at the grammar
Yes.
for sure. We're
Yeah.
pro at the grammar. That's why. But pro depends also at what level of scholarity schooling you go. But the higher you go in your schooling, the more program you become, the more indoctrinated and stuff. So probably the wash has to be more intense. If young like me, you have sensed something but have let go of your responsibility growing up, you're gonna need to wash your brain also. So I think pretty much everyone needs to wash their brain from the nonsense, like I said, accumulated. And I start this with a wake the baby. You know, you do not. Don't expect to be able to wash your brain staying in your baby state. You have to let go of certain chains and stuff that keep you locked in that baby state. And I think becoming an observer, I want to hear you on that, Rasmidas, your perspective on that. But I think an observer, by essence, is a profound quest finder, being driven by an immense thirst for tangible knowledge, curiosity, wonderment, perceptional perspective. Questions become what fuels plus drive our sovereign thinking. It's big, but it's always easier to write down big stuff than saying it, honestly, because I can think, I can write it down. But that's why it's very good to think before we talk, exactly, because then maybe we would have a not so much verbal diarrhea coming out our mouth. But anyway, that's another thing. Many problems arise from assuming things. If you assume you think you know when you probably don't, good news. Question should destroy assumption. And that's true. We have so many assumptions. And I think just to question certain things that you are confronted with in life will make you realize often that it's what we need to question everything. What do you think? What's your perspective on that? Your take on that, Rasmidas?
I think it is right for us all to question what we have been taught, and we have reached the time now in human history that certain things doesn't work anymore. So we have to check within ourselves and re-examine the education that we have been taught all these years and discovering that is fabrication, lies, and pollution. And whenever you rise up out of the belief system of Babylon, modern Babylon, and try to have a conversation with other people that some things is not working right or some things is not right. People is not really interested to listen. But this is a time when we have to listen to each other and appreciate love the discovery that we have come upon during research to find out the truth about ourselves, the truth about the history of mankind, and find out where it have been polluted by the Babylon system. And this Babylon system has left us separated, segregated, and there's so much ism and schism that instead we are learning to communicate and having respect for each other. We eventually disrespecting each other and are moving far apart.
I like you were talking about discovery, and right away I picked up something. Me, it's not I pay attention. I give attention when you speak, and really and discovery is something that I think without knowing, maybe unknowingly, we are a bit afraid of the discovery that we gonna have once we start opening up. And I want to make something clear. It's most the disco for me. I haven't discovered how bad the world is, or how bad people are, or how programmed they are. It's really, I think, it's more the me. I've discovered the power that I had, the power of love, and the power to express myself, which I've never really tried to do online like that. It's very, it's still brand new for me, even though it's been years now. But I still feel brand new every time I do this. But that's the discovery. I think that, I don't think we are really afraid of how the world is, because we are in it and we see it and we live it, and often we live that lie also, so without unknowingly. But it's more unknowingly also the greatness that we have inside that could, because that's going to come and shake your life to another level, like to a level of responsibility and love, and eventually that you're going to have to carry on, and unless you are very much decided to mess with the rise of certain beings. But I'm not here to mess with the rise of no one. So it's all about love, and more love at the end, and the discovery. That's what it is. What do you think about it, Rasmidas?
Well, discovery is very important because you're going to discover some truth and you're going to discover something that is not true. And most time people say they want to know the truth, but when they are confronted with the truth, they cannot deal with the truth. Especially when you're born into a system and a world who said is only them that have the truth. Because we're living in a world today where the Europeans believe to themselves that they are the only one who possess the truth and know the truth. And they teach and spread so many propaganda around the world and educate people in parables and myth and not reality. So people brain is festered up with less things that is acceptable for human progress, because they are not really dealing with human progress, they are dealing with control. And when you live into a system in which people is more interested in controlling people, they have to fabricate all kind of things within the system to keep you occupied by belief. And as long as you fall in the trap of this belief, you are not going to wash your brain or wash out the infested teachings in your consciousness so that you can see clearly what is taking place and what is going on. And as soon as you discover some things and rise up and start to share it with people, people don't want to deal with you anymore because they believe that you is against the system. It is not everything within the system you're against, but you come to realize that it, most of what the system is teaching is misleading. And it's time to take a stand and stand up and make your own research and to discover some things for your own self so you can really realize what is going on.
Yeah. And there's another word also, like in that same topic we're on, and it's the word rebel. I had an idea of being rebel before, was rebelling against something, against the system or against the schooling, or like when I was a teenager, I was very rebel, if in that sense, especially in school. Like I've been kicked out 3 years in a row. I was kicked out. That's March break because they couldn't handle. Anyway, I was feeling something wrong with the schooling system, but I didn't know what. Like I wasn't able to put my finger on what was wrong. So it came, my body was rejecting the authority and everything that come with the schooling. But today I realized that if I would have more knowledge of everything and more observant and uh, have more truth within me than lies, I would have realized that the rebellion has to happen against the program that's been put in my head. And today, that's where I see, like, I don't have to rebel, like we said the other day. We don't have to turn against evil uh, people that do evil doings. They're like evil, it's bad. It's not because they're. I don't like to use so much the word evil. The people that are doing bad things, like, and I think it's really in that sense today that I don't have to really worry about that, but I have to worry about the program that's been put in my head and trying to eradicate it to have better perspective and perception on life. What do you think?
Yes, that is true because, take for instance, the Bible. When you read it and you find so much confusion in it, and the New Testament is against the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is against the New Testament, and yet still they taught people around the world that is the Word of God. Now, if people make their own research, they will find out that the people them who wrote the Bible for empire for Constantine was Eusebio. Um, the Pauline doctrine was a doctrine then transformed from a writer named Apollonius, and you have Marcion and Lucian. All of those people are journalists and writers in those days that Emperor Constantine get together with the 12 bishops to comply the volume of the Bible, because Constantine was not Christian, but he realized that he could use the Christian theory and build his empire and go around the world to start the work of colonialism. And if you don't believe in those things, people is really against you. And yes, still the preachers of today preach and tell people that is the word of God. And if you tell people, say, hey, this is not the word of God, because you can make your own research and find out who are the people them that write the original Bible. And when England get into power, King James write his own version of it also. You know? And when Islam get into power, this Islam write their version of it also. And when Judaism get into power, they write their own version of it also. So when you get into all these things and people start to write parables and mythology and dreams and where one imagine. And so people today with all these conflicts, just like how you have conflict in the Bible, just same way this is the same way religion around the world have conflict with each other. And that conflict has caused people to hate each other, segregate against each other, make war with each other. And so we live into a situation where we don't respect each other, but yet still they says the word of God. Each one of them that written their own version says the word of God. And then when you tell people who wrote it, who write it, no, they don't want to accept it because they were told that is the word of God, and you cannot argue with God what God said because God is an unseen God.
But this is the thing, when it comes to religion and preachers that we see all around. I don't want to name name, but there's some of them that have build huge congregation. They have a church, a huge church. There's some in the States that it's crazy, the followers that they have, and the amount of money also that they accumulate with those church and those preaching sessions. I find that pretty, but I find that absolutely normal for beings like we are, because we are in search of something and we don't know too much where to search, and we have been told that the religion could be the key, or this or that, or science or religion. It's very linked together today, like the church and state. Well, science, religion and stuff is being mixed, and so that's it. So I think we are very much unaware, and those deceivers that are in front preaching, they are deceivers, but they don't know. This is the thing. Same like you don't know you're being deceived sitting in the crowd, being told all kinds of blah 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 story about the Bible and this. And that. You buy the bullshit. Bible, buy the bullshit. So you probably buy it good to be able to sit there for hours and hear what they have to say. I don't want to judge anyone if it's your case, you're doing it, or you're listening to that and you're one of those that like to go sit in church and stuff. I used to like it too because it's very quiet. It's a good place to meditate, to like have a good moment to think. But today I see that as an entirely different thing. And because today I'm a bit able to see the big picture, to sense the big picture, and that made me reflect on many tricks that are hidden in plain sight. Again, this is black magic in plain sight. That's what it is. And we are so asleep, dormant, solid. Like, I don't want to insult anyone here today, but that's the state of humanity. We're deeply asleep, being mesmerized by all kinds of sort of charlatans and gurus and preachers. And like the temple isn't there. Like we all have our own temple, not that we should be all for ourselves. Like it's good to open up our temple and reach out to others. Like it's very good. But yeah, I don't think that the preacher like even me, I got married in a church. If I would have to redo it today with a bit more questioning that I've done, and I've seen the magic in plain sight and stuff, I would not go back into a church to get married, but I've done it. Like, so I think everybody that go You don't wake up first light and say I'm gonna be mesmerized, or I'm a fool, or this or that, or I'm gonna act foolish today. It's complete unawareness, if you want my opinion. And I was into that state pretty much, and I know a lot of people that are still in that state of control, like you were saying. It's all about control, and it's why we have religion, science, and all that stuff, all that information in you, that's gonna cause a lot of damage eventually. If you But again, that damage, that pain, you might not even feel it. You might not even feel it, or the trauma, or some prefer we are becoming very insensitive beings. So by being insensitive, not being sensitive enough, you're gonna have all kinds of stuff done to you, and that's why we're staying like so divided. And so, because I think it's very easy to see these things for me, the black magic in plain sight. Eh? Russ Midas? Well,
I'm going. I'm going to get my glasses because of the computer. Just continue doing what you're doing till I
yeah,
soon be here. Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna keep going with my reflection. No, that's what I was saying. These things for me are very, and I think not just for me, for many. The moment you start within certain aspects and facets of your life, you're gonna realize that you've been a fool. Like I've been a fool. I am like a fool is a polite word, I think, but for sure we can be more vigilant and more present, more observant, and we're gonna know like all these things are not like seeing through stuff like religion and the pseudoscience, and it doesn't require a major brain capacity. It's not, you don't have to be super intelligent to sense the bullshit that they give to you day after day, like the black magician or Babylonian, or I think that stuff that is done to us is done by us mostly. Like it's not, you don't need to have a bunch of people organized together to mesmerize others. We do it to ourselves. We create the distraction, all the nonsense activities and we pump it more and more into the masses. So
Yes, I'm
people,
here.
okay, so they ask more and more distraction, and that's why. So yeah, so maybe you can give me your opinion on what I was talking about.
Listen. I am not saying that everything in religion is bad. I am not saying that everything that is written in the Bible or the Torah is bad, or things that is written in the Islamic Bible is wrong. I am not saying that. What I am saying is some of what they're written is not true, and it will be good if they can stop manipulate people by saying to people that is an unseen God that give reference or give power to a man to write what is in the book. It will be very intelligent if they could just speak the truth that God is a concept and each culture have its own concept of God. And we have writers within the system or the culture to write about the concept to satisfy our people within the culture. Now, I can accept that. So if people who are religious, we are not fighting against your religion. I am just saying you have to start open up your eyes, open up your soul and your mind, and realize that most of what is written in these books is brainwashing and is delusional also, you know? Because look at it. In the book, it is telling you an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And if I want juke out your eye, I must juke out him eye back and all these things. These things are craziness. And when you check the whole thing, you read where God is a God of love and God is a God of war. And if you don't accept my version of religion or Bible, oh, my special God is coming with judgment and thunder on you and all these things. And people have accepted all these things because 500 years ago, you have the Christian who go on their voyage, kill off millions of people, took away their land, and tell them that they must subdue to their gods. 1600 years ago, Islam do the same thing. And today, you have three religions fighting for power: Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, fighting for power, create all these world and division amongst people. And when you speak out the truth about these things, people are against you. But it's time for people to realize that God is not the creator of the universe. God is a concept created by religious people or by religion. And it's time for them to take the veil from their followers' eyes or the bag from over their face and start to educate people within each religion the truth about what is going on. Because, hey, when the truth is revealed, there will be no writer, there will be no more Pharisees and scribes coming in to your being, exploiting you, whether spiritually or physically, to have control over you. And so that is the difference today. And as you are saying, Tru-Mon, it's time for us, whosoever will, start to wash your mental cup. Start to have some changes and make your own research and discover the said thing. Because if people start to make their own research and make their own discovery, they will find out that they have been lied to. Because the universe, mankind does not know the secret of the universe. And is trying many years, millions of years, ever since, to know the secret of the universe. Because if we read history the right and proper way, there's a time gone by when man used to worship ghosts as the creator. Man used to worship the tree. Man used to worship volcano. Man used to worship earthquake when he did not understand the scientific aspect of the mystic of creation. He created all kind of things. It's about 3,000 years ago. They used to have volcano in Mount Aaron down in Palestine, and people used to, thousands of people, when the volcano erupt, they say God is talking to them, and they write it in the Bible. Say God is talking to them. If you read the Bible, you read where God tell Isaac to murder his son, and catch up a fire upon it and whatsoever it may be, to sacrifice blood and all those things. Days gone by, they used to do that for the gods. People murder people and sacrifice people all around the world in a savage way for the purpose of their God. And man have evolved, right? A little teeny bit because they are not sacrificing people on a altar anymore. It's war of destruction, wicked war of destruction, making bomb, guns, submarines, and sacrificing mankind in the army to go and fight other people because those people is not a believer in their interest, are not is not interest in their system that you set up. So when you do all those things, you're disturbing me. I am insecure because they are not oblige obliging my kind of economical system or my kind of religious system. So you are disturbing my peace. So I have a right, through the power of my God, to come and boom you up and destroy you and leave you to suffer. And when you become a refugee and start to run, come over to my place for refuge and reaching out, they label you as a savage. This is what taking place in the world today. And everybody is talking about love. People only talk about love. People don't live love because love is action. And action speak louder than words.
Yeah, no, great reflection, and especially when it comes to exactly, I wrote something here. You were talking about the three religions, so I guess my triple wash is really appropriate here. That's what we need: the triple wash, triple rinse. So yeah, I think it's me when it comes to religion. It's very easy also to see why we're attracted to that. Today, I look at it, and when you see so many beings enter a worship place of worship, that's the thing also. They bring people to worship God in a god or something in a very unnatural, unfractal structure. Like they bring people into concrete structures instead of, I think, the divinity or the god, or it's more in the tree outside. Like churches should be in nature, like completely in nature, free of buildings, surroundings by building. But it's so unnatural also, the vibe in a church. Like it's, first of all, it's inside, and it's very often, if you look into church too, you're gonna see the black and white a bit everywhere. Like you can see the signs in plain sight in a church, like just their Jesus bleeding on the. Today I look at it, and like they drink the blood and eat the flesh, and they tell you. They used to tell me when I was young. I did pretty much all the sacrament in the church. I think I went up to, I got married too. That's another one. So you go there and they tell you you eat the flesh and drink the. Uh, but you don't question it. You don't question anything that they tell you. So you go to church and it's very normal now to eat flesh and drink blood because they do it in church. So you think it's very normal. So you go up and you grow up in life after eating blood, meat, and stuff, and it's very normal. Like you can even turn cannibal today, and it's almost normal. So in the society we live in, so it's very barbaric. We have turned ourselves into very insensitized creature when we can be so sensitive and so close to our article vibe and to the real human vibe than the barbaric vibe. I think it's just, but I think the fact that many other beings are entering these places of worship, like churches and or mosque or places like even that black cube where they go to turn around. You never see one person turning around the cube. There's like thousands and thousands of people. So all this creates huge energy. The more beings you have in one place, in one center, in one building, it creates energy. So if you would see one being enter a church, I'm not sure many others would follow. But as soon as you see someone doing something, because we're very much in need of sensationalism, or we need to be told what to do because we're very much in a baby state, well, we follow others. We follow others to church, to different places. Even the Walmart is almost a church. Like, all these places, the super mall, supermarket, and all this. I think we fall for that because very much we see other people doing it and we just don't question it. And so at church, all the rituals, and the Bible. We're talking about the Bible. I don't think everything is me. I'm not trashing any religion or anything. Like, it's just not my thing. I've realized I don't need it in my life at this moment. I'm capable to question stuff and make my own like cheminement en vie. Not necessarily need the preacher to tell me what to do or how to behave, but when you don't know, when you try to know something, you probably will default to religion, or it will be a can be a good starting point if you want to seek for some spirituality or something. Some beings start there. Like I said, I used to go to church to sit in silence and stuff until I look around and I start observing and seeing the demonic side of it, and then I started to let go completely of anything that has to do with it. But yeah, if you don't question anything, you're probably just gonna follow along, and you're gonna repeat also what you're told, and you're gonna repeat it to your children, and you're gonna bring them to church, and everything will be fine. And like everything is fine in life, the whole world's going to shit. Everyone is like super programmed to destruction, but everything is fine. We're going to church on Sunday and blah 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 blah, blah. And then we go back to work, and you teach the same thing to your children, and at one point it just becomes very robotic, like it's just by habit almost. You go to church or you go to those places, it becomes an habit. So if you don't break the habit by questioning what's happening to you or what you do, it like you're probably gonna stand there. But that's not it's not my thing so much. So, but I'm not. I just want to say I'm not judging anyone if you go to church or you haven't purged that stuff still from your life. It's gonna come eventually if you open up your eyes enough. Yeah.
Listen, I and I cannot judge no one. It's people judge themselves by their works that they have committed through their life. And there's one word that you use, black magic. You see, black magic is a slander word that the church use against people who making research. Because remember, in the dark ages in Europe, when the Catholic Church, Rome, was in full power, if they find you making discovery to confront their lies that they have been told over the years, they label you as committing black magic. Just like women, when women getting education, getting to be educated, and the men of Rome in power believe that woman is getting too powerful, and they feel insecure, they label them as witches. And if you're doing something outside of what we don't give you the freedom to do, then we're going to put you on a cross. Remember, the said cross, which they claim that is a holy cross, is the said cross. That is the first gallows, the cross, where they hang you up and nail you up and make you dead until birds come and eat you and all the ravens come and eat you and all these kind of things. So this is how dangerous religion is. Next thing, the building is not the church. I and I is the church. Those buildings are synagogues, and dens of evildoers. And when you're talking about Walmart and those places, religion own the most property in the world and wealth. Religion one all most 99% of the universities in the world is owned by religion. 99% of the economical business that is owned in the world is owned by religion. Scumfication of land through the years have been controlled by religion. Most universities is them control the educational system of the world. Religion control the educational system of the world. See? So when you go to them, it's pay, you're paying. You're paying your tithes and you're paying to get your education, in which you're not getting no education. You are getting a brainwash teaching to subdue to the system of modern Babylon. Because when I'm telling you, say separation of church and state, that is one of the biggest lies ever told. Right? Religion is the state and state is religion. Religion is politics. Politics is theology. Everything is in one. It's church and state. Church and the state control the world and slaving out the world in this modern time. In this modern time, in modern Babylon, the church and the state is one, because it's the church control the state work for the church.
And there's all kinds of signs that you, like, we're not advancing something that we think that church and state are together. There's all kinds of signs in the world that tells me that church and state work hand in hand. I'm not I don't need to tell you what, but just here in Canada we have a social insurance number, 9 numbers, and it's called the SIN card. The government issues that card. But then I turn around, go to church, and they tell me I'm a sinner. So to me, all these things accumulated, all the little signs like that, tells me that, yeah, they are hand in hand, and it's clear to me that it's just to mess with our eyes.
Yes, the church won the most banks in the world.
Yeah.
Whether they want to name Wells Fargo or the Bank of Canada or thing. You see, the difference is in Canada, Canada is ruled by the Protestant capitalism of the world. You understand? Because Protestantism split from the mother church. But no matter what religion you join, whether you use Protestant, whether you use Presbyterian, whether you use Church of God, whether you use Catholics, all is Catholics, because all of them is sons and daughters of the Roman Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic dynasty. Whether they want to name 70, or they want to name Jehovah Witness or Jehovah Wickedness, everyone is a member of the Satanic Church of Seth, which is the Roman Catholic Church, and the church control the politician, because politics was born out of the church. Because you know capitalism come from the church is when the pirates that the church used to send out to rob and steal for the interest of the church rebel against the church and create an economical system called capitalism. And then in Eastern Europe, then deal with the next one named communism. But there's no difference between capitalism and communism. One, capitalism is private economical control, and communism is state capitalism. You understand me? So when you see the two of them fighting, there is a game, is a Cain and Abel business going on. You know, fooling people. And you know, when I want to manipulate people, communism telling people say capitalism is not good, and capitalism is manipulating its people say communism is not good. But all of them work together hand in hand so as church to control the wealth and the working people of this world and still keeping them in economical slavery. You know?
And
There have a part in the Bible say, oh, no rich man can enter into the kingdom of heaven. You know? Yeah. It is easier for a camel to go, for a cow or whatsoever animal to go through a gate, more than the rich man enter into the kingdom of heaven. All those things, man, bull. You understand me? People cannot tell it. Remember, religion promote poverty. If
And
you read the Bible good, you realize that religion promote poverty. Because religion is telling you that you don't want no riches, no wealth. All you have to do is work and obey the commandment of God and the Lord and the words of Jesus. And when you dead, if you obey what God say or what Jesus say or what Muhammad say or what the prophet say, you will go to heaven. In the Islam writing, when you do what the system wants you to do, you will go to sit with Muhammad and you get 72 virgin or whatsoever with it. The next one say, if you obey Jesus, you will go to heaven and sit with on the right hand of Jesus. And the only thing you eat is milk and honey. No more food. Just milk and honey, and you cannot live off of milk and honey. You understand me? And the next religion say if we wait till the Messiah come to solve your problem. When all of them slave you mentally and physically in the economical swamp of Babylon. And when you are trying to escape that swamp and to come out of that swamp, oh, you're a rebel. Ah, you're fighting against the system. We're going to create new laws in our institutions to see to it that the fabrication and the price of this system will
and
keep in order in military and religious order, because there is onward Christian soldiers or Islamic soldiers marching onto war.
very often that stuff you were saying, then like when you start to queue up a little bit on what's going on, often the most outside negative pressure I felt is from beings very close to me, like my mother and other persons around them, that they cannot conceive that they have been fooled. Like, this is the thing also with human, is our ego is so huge, so build up a huge ego over time that we cannot even perceive the truth anymore, and we prefer live the lie and propaganda the lie, and everyone that's might be speaking or in touch with reality a bit more than us, we ostracize them right away, and they're fools, and they're so we are stuck in a situation that beings think that they talk sense and that they're not foolish, when they are very, very foolish, not selfish at all, very foolish. And we are in a circus with clowns around us, and we can't even see the clowns, and the clowns are showing their big red nose to us, and we still can't see them because we don't want to. Our brain cannot process the fact that we've been lied or making fun of all our lives. So when it's still the case, very much when they have uh, me, when I seen that, I'm like, I cannot wrap my head around the fact that they cannot perceive the lie now. It's that car that Elon Musk sent into space. Like, he sent a car into space with a bonhomme in it. Like, there was a guy in it, I don't know what, looks so fake that that's what he says too in his press conference. He said it looks so fake that it's real, like something like that. And even when you see things like that, and you see the humanity going in front of that and being amazed by something that is complete nonsense, a car flying through outer space, like, I wonder where we are. Honestly, it's something. Okay, maybe with a closed mind, maybe I would have bought it. Maybe I would have bought into it. But I have very big problem assuming that I would buy into something so nonsense as a car flying through a sports car, like his sports car, convertible with the top open and the bottom sitting into it. And we're all in front of YouTube and cheering for it like that completely. That is mesmerizing me completely, but the other way.
Where everything is mind control.
Yeah.
Everything is to control the inhabitants of the earth so that the 1% can have authority and ruling people. And people is not thinking about their own independence. They're thinking to be dependable. And when good people come, good warriors come, good revolutionary people come, helping to change people's minds, not really to change people's mind, helping that people can learn how to make changes within themselves. They have all these kind of manner of things to tell you and all these things. I am not saying that science is not good, but too much of one thing is good for nothing. You understand? Science is good. Engineering is good. The computer is good. The TV, the radio, all of these things is good. But when you start to manipulate, when you start to use the negativity to suppress positivity and to suppress progress, that's where I reach the limit. Because I don't want people to listen to us today and believe we are fighting against science, or we are fighting against engineering, or we are fighting against prosperity. We are just trying to show people, to let people know that religion control the power of this world with all the pirates. The pirates is the multinational corporations who run the political part of the system, because look at it this way. When the church say you commit sin, Sunday you have to go to Father, go tell Father your sin. Father relay your sin to the Pope. And then the Pope talk to God for you to forgive you. Look at that. Look at that. People bowing down on their knees in many different denominations, victimize their own self, convict their own self, not feeling free within them own self, because religion label you as sinners and devils and demons. And if you create something that is progressive and is going to change some part of the system, they say that you are dealing with magic, black magic. Then we didn't call it white magic or European magic. It's always black, because they want to demonize people that come from Africa. Everything that is negative, they put it as black. They manipulate people's mind of black and white. And because some people is white, them is pure and clean, and everybody that is black is not pure and clean. You are sinners and savages. And so, dear God, give them authority to clean you from your sins and savagery that you're into, when they are the savages in the swamp that keeping people in the swamp so that you cannot be free mentally and physically.
And that black and white thing going around is so nonsense also because look, just for an example, this is a white piece of paper. This is the color white. My skin is not white as far as I'm concerned, and his skin is not black, it's brown. So it's
This is
more
black. This is black.
exactly. My shirt is black. That's it.
I am an African man, and my complexion is not like this. But
Exactly.
they create this black and white and brown to separate and manipulate people, that people cannot see through the complexity or the complexion of other human being. Because listen, don't judge no human by the outside. Judge them from the inside. Because from the inside, you're going to know who that person is. Because the outside is just a house that keeping the word, the life, and the man, and the spirit, and the being. Because if I never have this flesh, no one could identify I. You couldn't see the rest of I. So do not judge I by I identification. As it is written, don't look upon me and discriminate against I because of the color of my complexion.
And I mean, I signify. I want to say it's very good to have. I don't like to say the word I mean. I mean, I'm not mean. I'm not supposed to be mean. So that's why every time I say it, I kind of bug inside. And what I want to say is, it's good to have many different colors. Like flowers are different colors. Dogs are different colors. Horses are different colors. Bears. So why human would have to be all homogenized and all the same? Like, it's good. Me, I first of all, me, I don't see no color really. It's the different shades and different. Like, yeah, when you bug on that kind of stuff, the color of the skin, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? But I from a long time, I've never had an ounce of. If you, I don't like to use the word race again, because as soon as you involve race in your speech, you are a racist because you talk about race. So it's
Yeah.
like, if you are if you talk about yourself, you're selfish. So same thing. So racist, self. Like, if you talk about it, obviously it's because you think it does exist. To me, there's no race. There's only different colors. But like I say here in the book, and that's what we were talking before, most of the time we perceive only what we want to feel, or what others tells us how life should be perceived, rather than investigating to see what is really there, hidden in plain sight. We feed our collective trickery, nonsense activities, only because we are programmed with nonsense, and that became embraced by the majority, when in truth they only become popular because they are bombarded at us. Okay, that's why it's popular. Corporations, entities use such an intensely high level of programming that its mere force disguises lies with truth. And like obedient, foolish beings, we do not question their validity, then swallow up everything toxic, like toxic medicine. Why? Because since the earliest days of our youth, days, the DAZE, days of our youth, we have been programmed to take the way of the herd. Governing entities anywhere is always right to be respected. That's the thing. We are very much, look, we're programmed to, first of all, Santa Claus and all kinds of fakery and nonsense that you come to, in it, all that program your psyche to exactly probably enter the church at one point. Like, if you're big on Santa Claus when you're young, you'll be big in church. Like, I think that's probably linked one and the other. That's why Christmas is a Catholic thing, and it's very much celebrated still here. And I never really dig the thing of decorating your house, putting lights. Like, people light up their house here and there. I don't do that. I find that so nonsense. I don't know why people do that. I don't know. I've never, still today, I don't know why. But to me, I'm not attracted by that kind of stuff, and putting lights and decorating the trees. And to me, it has another, like, I'm not saying that this date is not valuable when it comes to celestial events and stuff that is probably affecting the earth, but it's far beyond the Walmart and the Supermart and the gifts and the all the stuff that goes with today's Christmas celebration again.
You
So
see the Christmas celebration
yeah,
is making your vows.
I'm the Grinch that stole
It,
Christmas.
it, it is making your vows to the king and queen of Babylon. You see, the queen of Babylon is Ishtar. So all these Christmas tree that you see people buy up and put up pretty bulb on and pretty light is giving their harms or their pleasure to Ishtar, because Ishtar was the god of the goddess of fertility in the system of ancient Babylon. So it's a revival of it they're doing. You know? Um so within Christmas, people is celebrating all kind of Babylonian thing and they don't know says Babylon them have bow to man. And the church make it as a money making mechanism to when that time come round. You know, when Easter come, they make a lot of money. When Christmas come, they make a lot of money. Because all the businesses associated with religion put out the product at this time of the year to sell to the consumers who they control, who do not know the difference. I am not going to say that them is a fool, but the world is guilty of many fools, and there is still one left for one more if you allow yourself to be fooled continuously by the institution of the system of Babylon that control the world that we are living in today.
But there's also the fact that we trust these governments and stuff. Like, we are trained to trust people blindly, to trust other beings blindly without, especially when it comes to authority. I'm not saying that we should discard it, like we need, but the authority. Like, if you look at just the word, you have the word Tor, you have the riti, like the written, the right, the ritual. So, and especially with that Bible thing we were talking before, it's very easy to take some guys that are, because back then not too many people knew how to write and read. Like, we were not, like 1,000 years ago, people weren't programmed the way they are today. Life wasn't the same like 1,000 years ago. We have become programmed also, because now we can also write the language that we speak, because we go to school and stuff. So we become very pro ritual for Babylon again, until you start changing a bit the words, and you start like, hey, what? Like today, every word I hear, there's like a question that's spark in my head. But 20 years ago, it was not the case. Like, so I think it's a lot, the question inside, and that. And do not, because that's why I say here, do not trust anything simply because it is said or written. Do not trust anything simply because it is spoken or rumored by many. Do not trust anything simply because it is found written in your religious or science books. Again, not saying not all science is trash and nonsense, but there's a lot of pseudoscience that pass as real, uh, like theories that are accepted as being reality, like gravity and all these nonsense that that once you quest a bit what's going on with gravity, you realize that what is that, like complete nonsense. But that was my realization. I don't know if other beings have realized also certain stuff, no? But yeah, do not trust anything because look here, do not trust in all ancient rituals because they have been handed down for many decades. Like, but after having observed to reason, when you find that what you perceive agrees with reason, involving the good for the profit of all, then learn from your perspective and live up to your full essence. But it's a process for sure.
Well, these are the legacy of Babylon, who threw all these things on people's shoulders. Because Take for instance in the Bible, there's a part in Matthew in the Bible where them say that Jesus going to the temple and is buying and selling and prostitution and drinking of wine, in which they call the church today, and he whipped them out. Now, if you read that you're Jesus that you are following, then going to a temple and meet all these kind of people doing what they're doing and call it and describe it as a den of thieves. And you still going into the den of thieves, and you still is supporting the den of thieves, and you let the den of thieves have control over your psyche, tell you how to live, how to walk, how to sleep, what to eat, and what not. Control you every day. That you cannot live without calling upon the name of Jesus or Allah or your God or your Messiah, then something is really wrong with you as a human being. You have been led away, and you cannot wake up from your sleep and slumber to realize that you have been led away and to accept that you have been led away because you're caught up so much with your emotion of superstition that it controls you in a high that you cannot see what is happening outside of you. You're like a blind mice walking into the swamp of Babylon to be controlled by the swamp.
There's another phenomena that's happening in the swamp also that's really fascinating me, and it's the fact that now, and I've kind of see the chapter a bit that I've read fastly, but I've seen some right Christ consciousness and stuff. We have taken the word now from the church and brought it out of the church, and everything is good, everything is fine. Like we have come to take even that Christ consciousness like being something that we should all attain. Me, I'm a bit careful when I see especially the words from the church and stuff, especially the look, I've chosen 33 keys because we have 33 vertebrae in our spine, and I think every spine is a step to a portal to higher coherency. So I explain it in the book in the beginning a lot. But also I see like a lot of 33 in disguise. Like we know that 33 is that the number of you have to go in Freemasonry. The 33 is the top. And we know Freemasons are I'm not saying that it's all bad and this, like I'm not trashing Freemasonry at all. I would have to investigate it more or go into it directly to have a great sense of it. But I know that the magician, whether they're black, white, gray, whatever magic they do, what color we put to it, but the magician of Babylon, I know they use coding stuff, and often letters refers to number and stuff. So here, before you were referring to the two main systems in place in the world, which is communism and capitalism. You have double C, which is C is the third letter of the alphabet. So you have a 33 there. Oh, directly ring a bell for me. Then you have Christ consciousness. Again, double C, 33. So that rings a bell for me because I think they have not demonized, but they have turned us away from all the real stuff and brought that into a certain aspect like Christ consciousness. But the word consciousness, like every time I see con, I don't know, it rings something weird in my head. And en français, c'est con. Tu es un con. Like, you're a fool. T'es un con. So, conscience. Aussi en français, consciousness is conscience. So, you have the con en français et en anglais. So that rings a bell. I'm not a fool. Je suis pas un esti con. On dit ça en français. You're a fool. T'es un esti cave ou un con. Ben, c'est pas bon. It's not good to say that to someone. So when I see it in the word, I don't know why. So that's why I'm saying maybe we should maybe investigate a bit further that whole thing. Before
Yes,
we start. before we start repeating it. That's my point.
We are here to change things that we see that is necessary to change. And no wrong if you want to change the word consciousness, because the Rastafari in Jamaica call it higher heights. Higher heights. Because Rastafari don't like to use the word consciousness. But we just use that word because we understand that it is easier for people to have a understanding on their behalf of what we really mean, because how it really goes, if you are not speaking a word that they have been taught in their educational upbringing, then you are wrong, and they claim you to be ignorant. But even the word Christ, the Christ consciousness is from ancient Egypt. Is the high step of Osiris or Asar. The Greek call it Osiris. And that don't spell Christ. It's spelled Krst in the ancient Egyptian language. Krst. So it's when the Greek is set the church. It's when the church get hold of these things, the church change around everything to suit it. Right? It's just like God was a spiritual consciousness then, or a spiritual heights in ancient Egypt. The European and the Greek and the church come and tell you, say, no, it's not a spiritual consciousness. It's the man that built the universe. You saw things get around? Right? That's how it goes. It's just like they change the name from Haset to Isis. And then change the word Isis to Mary again. And then in the Catholic Church they used to bow to the female identification of humanity and say it was a black Madonna. So when them find out say that getting too strong, they change it to Mary. So it's just like they change Heru to Jesus. I'm telling you, say it's Jesus. Remember, it was Jesus, you know. And when King James translated him, put it down as Jesus. And I'm telling you, say you must pronounce it as Jesus. And if you tell anyone, say, but JUSUS can spell as Jesus, man.
Seems that over time a lot have changed. Like even you said the word Mary, that's true, but also marijuana. It was hemp before, and it's really cannabis. So they have called it marijuana, and the word Mary is in it. So yeah.
Yeah, because listen now, they change it to marijuana because they want to put discrimination upon it. But when they are in their upper room smoke it, it's cannabis for them, and they smoke it, and they have it for their own use. But no, mankind mustn't have it. The rest of mankind must have it for their use. So we're going to label it and call it marijuana, so we can make some money from it by prosecuting people for one of the most important herb within the earth here that we live.
And another thing that's funny also is that the God concept, concept. I don't know if it's the right word there. God. Concept, maybe God concept.
Yeah.
It's something that we're taught mostly. Like when I was young, I've been learning about God in church and stuff. And as soon as it's a concept that we have a big issue discarding. like in our life. Like God is like the hammer of Thor on us for many. So how do you come to? Because I think the purpose of the church and the religions and stuff is to prevent you from seeing that God essence within yourself. Like probably have it. You have it. We all have it. Like someone said in the chat, I think it's Karen. I think I read a message. God is in all of us. I don't see it in all of humanity. I see wickedness a lot around me. And to see someone to say, but even the God in us, like what is that concept of God? Like, I don't know. I'm being very, not that there's no forces in the world. Give thanks for the unseen forces. If you see it, give thanks for that. There is many around. Not just the wind, but probably others that we are not even aware of being around. So there's a lot to give thanks for, probably more the unseen than the seen. But the part of the unseen God also is very attractive for the whole humanity. I think, I don't know, I think we're a bit far from, because I've never seen any other beings on earth than human beings. Like I haven't been here for long, 46 years in their Babylonian calendar, but it's long enough to, like, maybe I would have seen something. Like, so I see humans. I see some are very intelligent, some are very stupid, some are very kind, some are very wicked, some are very that's it, very godly, and if you want to use the word God, then some are very evil. So where is that line that we need to trace, if there is one, between God and the reality that we live? Like, I think it's a bit a fairy tale, that God thing. I'm not saying there's no supreme forces, but it's the word dog God that puts me on the edge a bit with it. Maybe one day I'll accept it, and even accept is a bit a weird word. You have to act. The sep is taken, like act. I don't know.
But
Go
you,
ahead.
but you can just put it as insep.
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 Yeah,
You
that's
know?
better than accept.
Listen, God
Okay.
is really God is religion. God is the image of religion in which they create religion and politics around. As I said before, what European is calling God was originally human spirituality. When you're in communication with the Creator, now the the earth, hear the whole thing now. The Creator is the earth, and the earth is the Creator. Every human being that living and every insect, trees and everything is part of the Creator. You don't have to be waiting on the Creator, or the Creator is no special man or woman. We're living in a special place called heaven, and when you get forgiveness for your sins, then you're going to sit with your Creator or something like that. That's not how it works. Spirituality is unity and love and harmony. When you have spirituality and you live in it, you are living in harmony and love and unity with every other things that exist within the universe. When you are living out of the laws of the universe, then you're gone into the God business, because you believe that you're gone into a different entity. You're exalting yourself amongst other people because, oh, now I'm with God and now I accept Jesus as my wonderful Savior. I am not like Harry again because I am saved and washed in the blood of the Lamb, and I am so different from everyone else. I'm so special. But you're not special and different from no one else. It's only because that you accept a bag of foolishness in your vitality. So you cannot reach out to love your neighbor as yourself. Because where love is concerned is a million miles away from you in from your inside, because you speak so much about love, you speak so much about unity and spirituality, but yet still you are living a million miles away from it. So your words is your judge. Your words is your own burden, because you should let your words manifest itself into works. And if you can let your words be manifested into works, you and your God business and your Jesus business where you want to wrap up in are segregation business, that. Because you want to segregate yourself, because that's what religion done. Segregate you. Make you feel like you're special from everybody else and you're doing the same thing. Every Christian is a liar. Every Islam is a liar. Every Jews is a liar. Every religion people tell lie. But Sunday and Saturday and Friday, even whosoever want go bow down to them special God, say them ask for forgiveness. And yet still Monday morning or Sunday morning or whatever, you come out and do the same thing. Because you were taught a lie, you're living a lie, and you're existing in lie, and you can't come up to the reality that is the world you're born in. You're born into a world of lies, man, and deception. And you have to look into yourself to find out this is what it is. You're living in the big lie, in the big bang. You know? Because when mankind can tell you everything, it's pure lie, man. You know?
I totally agree with you, but how can you make some other beings realize that when they think they are, like you said, so special? Like they have car, houses, sofas, bed, and everything to be really comfortable in their little invisible cage. So how can you make them see the unseen? Because we're talking about our ability to see the unseen, most of it, or see things that are in plain sight. But when you think you're very special, and there's another iceps, I prefer the word icep. There's another iceps I would like to hear you on, and that's something we hear a lot, especially in religion. It's the life after death. And a lot of people, I don't want to use the word people. We're not pissing on pole. So there's other beings that really are with a sense of certainty that there is life after death. Like, how can we? I don't know. Me, I like the song. You have one song that says, "I want to be here on earth and live my life well right here on earth." Like, I'm sure you're not very, but should we prepare for life after death, Rasmidas?
Listen, when people die is when they don't reproduce themselves. So if anyone in this world, I don't care who you is, I'm dealing with reality now. Any living human being doesn't reproduce themselves, there's no life after death for you. Remember, the gift of life is eternal. And if you want your life to be eternal, you have to reproduce yourself. You have to reproduce yourself, because that is the laws given by the Creator to every living being, trees, vegetation, animal, insect. Everything that exists within life is a reproduction of itself. So whosoever waiting until they die to reproduce yourself, I am very sorry, not going to happen. I am telling you reality. This is reality. Whether you want to reproduce yourself in male or female, that's what we are. The fish have to reproduce itself. The bees have to reproduce itself. Because if it don't reproduce itself, you wouldn't see any more bee. So whosoever kill it themselves then, and don't want to reproduce themselves, that is how you are killing yourself.
I agree with you, but we're so excuse my language, but we're so fucked up. Okay, that's really the I think the great thing for me, that even me sometimes, like I had three children, but I'm so fucked up that sometimes I even question. I know it's the goal of life is to create life and all this, but my programming makes me question the fact. Even with my wife sometimes we talk, because there's so much chaos around when children are there. Like no matter what, I don't know any family that doesn't experience chaos and noisy situation. And like sometimes it can be very noisy, and I'm a very, doesn't seem like it, but I'm quiet. Like at times, at times I'm quiet. So when there's too much noise, I get annoyed and stuff. So with children, sometimes it's very noisy. They yell, they scream, they like, so even, but I know that it's the essence of life is to create, like it's something we do unconsciously, if you want to use the word conscious. Like you say, sometimes we're using words that it's something we do very like naturally, is to reproduce. Like your brain will not bring you to your greatness. You have to bring yourself to your greatness, but your brain will bring you to reproduce without any motivation, anything. You will want to reproduce. That's a normal thing. But I don't know, that the state of my programming is so deeply fucked up that even sometimes I question that, like, oh, I'm being honest here.
Your children, when you hear the nice and the yelling, is not really chaos. You're experiencing when you were young, just like them, the way you used to do it too.
I know my mother tell me all the time.
All right. So that's how it really goes. Remember, if the sun didn't reproduce itself, we wouldn't have sunshine continually. If the moon didn't reproduce itself, we wouldn't have the moon continually. So when we are in divine love, Babylon call it sex. Both you and your wife, or I wife, is saying to ourselves spiritually, let us recreate ourselves in our own image. That's what it really is. That's why Babylon tell you about the word sex. They don't want to let you know that this is when you are in divine love. In other words, this is when you are in communication with the creative force of the creator within the universe. So, you ever hear the word blasphemy?
Yeah, blaspheme.
Well, when you don't produce yourself, reproduce yourself, or recreate yourself, you are committing blasphemy. That is blasphemy. When you are not recreating yourself and you believe that when you're dead, you're going to come again, that don't exist. That do not exist. And bring all the scientists in the world, all the doctors. Prove I wrong.
I heard many beings or gurus say that, especially one in particular, won't name him, but I think many are into this, that we're preparing, like your life, your living days are the preparation for the life after death. I'm saying, what's that nonsense? I don't even know if, like, I see people dying. I see the body is not moving or anything. I don't see the spirit coming out and shooting to a higher realm or stuff like that. Like, you don't see it. Maybe it's unseen. Maybe I don't know, with special gamma rays or something special, we could see the aura of the person coming out the body, going to higher realm and stuff. But I think all this prevents us from being really present with the present currency that we can have here with the present time, and then it takes us very far away. Like, we're not even only in outer space as humanity, we are in life after death. Imagine how far that is for me. Like, to think of life, like, come on, I'm here alive. Like, why are we all so far from our being. We're either with science and outer space or with religion, with life after death.
That's why I sing this. That's why I wrote this song and sing this song. I don't want to be in heaven,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be in hell. For I have confidence in myself to make it my own way. I don't need a God to take my troubles to. I don't need a leader to tell I what to do. You know? Yes. Look at the birds. Look at the bees. They live in their life and not concentrating on all this stupidness. They are smarter than mankind. They are not thinking about heaven, and they are not thinking about hell. But yet still, we make religion control our psyche that we, you, I tell you, 90% of the world today is living on stress that they're going to die and they don't know if they're going to heaven or going to hell.
I
Eh?
know it's crazy.
Eh? Look at it. People occupy their mind, them levity, sorry, stressing out. That they don't know if Jesus is going to meet them or they don't know how Allah is going to meet them. They don't know if they're going to heaven, go meet them Lord and Savior. And leave humanity down here. We should love, try to cooperate, try to communicate, try to work to let our environment better. You know, I asked a Christian one day, so out of I and Jesus, who you love? You know what she said to me? Midas, why can you ask a question like that? You must know that I love Jesus more than you. I say, well, then that's the difference between you and I. You are loving superstition that you cannot see. You are loving a theory that you cannot see. You are loving European mythology that you don't know about. And this living human being standing here before you, who is your earthful neighbor, and you can even say to I that you love I. Well, me love you, Midas, but not like Jesus. Me say, man, your love, a superficial love.
I totally agree with you, but sometimes it's so hard to just make them see something else. Like I often, but they don't come no more. They must have put me on the blacklist again. You see, we see blacklist. Like why blacklist is the bad list? Like that's what we say. I just realized, like the naughty list or whatever. Like on the bad list, they probably the Jehovah Witnesses because every time they come here, I really give them my point of view on all of this Jesus and the Jesuits and the Je suis and the I am and all thing, and then I play with the words and try to make them see that it doesn't come from me; it's in the words. But they even there they don't want to look at the words textually for what they signify. They look at words to repeat the words. That's all we do. Like, and the worst is in all we're talking about today, it's all in the words. We're not inventing anything here. Read the words, especially in English and French.
Yes.
Two languages that are very, very, very similar in many ways, but for some reason, we don't look at the words. We're just repeating them.
No, but the next thing again, true man, people do not look the meaning of the word they speak. They do not know the meaning of the word that they speak. People is just speaking because you grow up and hear the word, or when you're going to school, you learn the word. But if you do not understand or overstand or understand this, what thou readest, how can you come into I, come tell I that what you hold upon is reality? Listen, 50, 60 years ago, Rastafari culture was a scam in Jamaica. Till I grew up to see the uptown people and upper class people holding on to Rastafari and manipulate part of it and turn it into religion and going around the world like how Babylon teach them to manipulate people about Rastafari, like Rastafari is a religion and you have to come be part of it. Rastafari is my revolution. I am not telling no one to come be a part of my revolution because my revolution is to revolute myself from the swamp. You don't have to be a Rastafari to make changes in your life, you know? Because most people in the third world, say Jamaica, grew up on religion, grew up on religion. And even the philosophy of Marcus Garvey and other freedom fighters on the Maroon in Jamaica, the revolution was to revolute against British colonialism, especially Christianity.
But in Jamaica, it's impressive the amount of church that there is there, with in comparison to the inhabitants of the
Synagogues,
parishes
not
and
church, synagogues. They are not church, they are synagogues.
synagogues. Yeah, synagogue,
Yes, yes, that's what
synagogue.
they name. Yes, that's the pure sinners go there.
The sinners go in the synagogue.
Yes, yes. Everyone that go to that building Saturdays, Sundays, and Friday evening, all of them is sinners. That's why them going there. It named synagogues. It's for sinners. They do something against themselves. They're guilty about the way they deal with other people through the week. So they feel guilty. So they have to go there bowing down, say they're repenting for their wrongdoings and talking about them praying to God and Jesus to keep to save them and all these things. These things are illusion, man. You have to deal with yourself. You have to save with yourself. I am not against no one who want to say them is Christians or Muslim or Judaism or Krishnaism. I don't care. All I am saying, take a deep look into your psychology, and it's time to wash away all these kind of mythology from your system so that you can see clearly who you really are. And I am not saying that anyone must accept my word. Look into yourself and accept your word.
And the religions are very also. I think it's clever. The name, the word when it comes to using words like in English, there's a plant, okay, but there's the synagogue, but there's also the basilic. Okay, you go into a basilic, it's a big structure. They call it a big structure, like they make it with very unfractal. But if you go into nature, you can find basil, like the spice, the basilic that
Yeah.
we use. And there's also one that is, I learned recently, maybe a year or something ago, there was one called the holy basil. And there's only one plant on earth that has the power of that plant. Like it's very powerful, it has full nutrients. Like some people take supplement of holy basil, but
Yes.
I didn't know about that. I thought that the holiness was only to church, again, to a structure, not in nature. I never thought I was gonna go into nature and find holy basil. But yeah, that like the holiness and that all that stuff is more with the plants kingdom than with the religion, I think. Like today I see clear in this, but again it was by looking at the word. But even younger, I was looking at the Basilique Notre Dame. There's one where I'm born. There's a big one
Mhm.
there. I wasn't seeing the plant in it. Like I was just seeing the word and the structure. Like we have to look at the words and also look outside a bit of what we've been taught, and then we can find more sense maybe why that word has been used. Like it's just to, again, to bring you far from the quintessence.
Yes, because everything is mental and physical control of humanity. You see, not until mankind return to the positive tree, which is the tree of life. Mankind is holding on to the tree of good and evil right now. Some part of the system is good, some part of the evil. But no one wants to reach out to the tree of the oneness which is only the tree of life. And the tree of life is within I and I, the positive spirit of I and I. But I and I don't want to allow the positive tree, which is the tree of life in I and I, to have control over the tree of good and evil. Because what the tree of good and evil have done is create all these fantasies over its house to make it look appealing, to control people's imagination and get attracted to all these big buildings and to all these evil spirits that run around humankind each and every day. The politicians, the preachers, the false teachers, all over. Because you know why? Most people can't eat three meals a day, and the majority of the world is living in hunger, are hungry, and starvation, and then don't care about that. Because remember, some people in Babylon use the starvation and the suffering of other people around the world to make money also. Such as the Salvation Army. You hear it name? The Salvation Army and the Red Cross. All those people is part of Catholicism. And as war start, look now, see as war start, the Salvation Army is down there. The Red Cross is down there. Yeah, them is like vulture looking for dead meats to pick up on, man. That's how them is.
Especially when it comes to the Red Cross, they collect blood, but for what purposes exactly? I wonder sometimes. The tree, I don't want to say it, but anyway, you know what I'm saying. But the tree you were talking about is very interesting also to look at ourselves as trees. And I see my gut very, very important. Like there's three things very important within us, I think. It's the gut, the heart, and the brain. Like when you get those three flowing good, you can have good root. Like the gut is probably the roots. Like it's a system of tube inside. So probably the root and the heart is the tree, and then you have the fruit coming out from your head if you stop your verbal diarrhea at one point in your life. But as long as you keep that state of programming and verbal diarrhea without like it seems we have no filter often when we talk. Our speech is very incoherent because what we say, think, and do is very, very off at many levels. So yeah, so I think it's possible for us to really behave as a tree of life, like you said.
Yes, because in the tree of life, there's 33 dimensions of biceps. Not consciousness. 33 degree of biceps. But they have the 33 degree of biceps for themselves so that they can rule the world and fooling people about Freemason. Hey, nobody can come to about no Freemason business and all them thing, them man. Listen, is the 33 degree of biceps and Babylon world consciousness that you evolve yourself higher to be in connection with the universe. So you can be in coordinates and communication with the spiritual entity of the universe. So nobody can come to me about God, me is part of God and God is part of me and Jesus blood and sanctify and all them thing there. Me no want to hear them thing there. See? Because God is religious and political power that run the world today. See? God is religious and political power, ideology and theology that control the human race in bondage. So nobody can come tell me that. I am free myself from Babylon political power and Babylon political theology. Seeing? Because I am part of the universe and the universe is part of I. I am part of the creative force, of the creator force of the universe, and the universe is part of I. I don't need those things in my life. I am not a sinner. Me not bow down on my bed at evening time or night time or whatsoever time and I pray or talk to myself. Because when people say them a pray, them talking to them own self. Nobody else out in the outer space not hearing them. Me not have nothing to confess to myself. Seeing? Because me born into Babylon swamp. And I am elevating myself out of that swamp. I am not saying I am better than other people. I am no special person that gets saved. Me not tell no one say me get saved and all them thing there. All I'm telling people, brothers and sisters, I am working very hard to elevate myself or to transform myself from the swamp of Babylon so I can know myself more, to rebuild myself, to be a branch on the tree of life.
That's the whole purpose, is to when, especially when we start branching out, you start growing your tree and nurture it, nourish it with lots of love and sense, especially sense, and become more sensitive. As long as you become a bit more sensitive each and every day, you will start branching out, and then you branch out, and then you produce fruit, and you can be a great addition to what's going on here on earth for sure. But the world doesn't revolve around me. I say it often, and that you see it or not does not gonna change the world. Also, that everything we have talked today, you see it or not, it's not gonna change the nature of the quintessence that we all live in. So the earth takes care of the earth, and the quintessence take care of the whole vibe that we're in. So yeah, I'm very confident, like you say, that we can all be a great part. We don't have to stand apart and just live with our programming. We can be free beings having free thoughts. Like me, I just don't want to take in like everything used to get under my skin, and that's what's happening when you're a bit into your programming. Like everything gets to you and get under your skin. Like today, there's a filter. Like you tell me something, I'm gonna question it. Like that's the part where you're maybe a bit more free, and if you question things that are told to you or brought to you or taught to you.
Yeah, and religion suppress your true intuition.
Exactly.
Because put it this way, if a nice woman see a man or meet a man who she think is very nice, and that man is a member of our denomination, and him say to her, young lady, I cannot deal with you although you're looking very nice and thing because you're a sinner. And me saved by grace and under God grace and this. I cannot deal with you. If you walk down the street right now and you see a nice woman coming out of one of those synagogues and you start to express yourself to her, say, well, you admire her and things like that. She suppress her feelings and start to tell you that she cannot deal with you because you're a sinner. If you want to deal with her, you have to come to the church and to the synagogue and baptize in the holy name of whosoever God them deal with before you can really deal with her like brothers and sisters. No, I said go. It's a segregated thing. It's a special thing, as I tell you before. Me can't deal with Harry because Harry not saved.
And also it's the poses that comes with the religion. Sometimes I think of Catholic churches, they make you go on your knees and stuff. And Islam, it's like, I don't know, it's a weird pose, especially for women. Like I don't know. It's the poses that they take, and then the Judaism they have their own also. Like it's very very. I don't know. It's
Everybody bowing down, man. Everybody
yeah,
bowing down to the image of Babylon.
yeah.
Everybody bowing down to the God image of Babylon. One name Allah, right? One name Jesus. One name the Messiah. One name Krishna. One I don't know what name. Everybody, you have the Latter Day Saints. For them, Jesus is must be Joseph Smith or some Smith like that. Everybody have them special one, man. Jehovah wickedness are for them special one too. Everybody has some special thing and them have them laws set up. And you know what happened? If you go into the Bible, each one is showing you where God said them to deal with and not for them portion that them take out of it. So it's a book of confusion. It's a book of deception. It's a book of parables. It's a book of mythology. It's a book of astrology. Everything have some allergy on it. And you still them tell you, say, if you get allergy, not good for your brain, your health. When you have allergy and you have to go to the doctor to get some medicine for your allergy.
But we are beings that like to fantasize also, like about many things, even our own existence, our own beings. Like sometimes we're so caught up in fantasy, so no doubt that you're gonna get caught up into other stuff like Santa Claus and religion and all that. So that was the key number 23. We went through it. It took us 2 hours to but we did a super great reasoning about it, and I'm very again truly favored maybe by higher forces to be able to do that with you, Rasmidas. I give thanks a lot. Give thanks to everyone that was present here and with us. That's it. Thank you, bro. Pirel, Karen, Jane Doe, all of you out there in the world, on the earth, across the earth. That I'm being so careful. Like that's one thing that I hear so much, and it's just on level of repeating is when I hear people say, "Oh yeah, across the globe," or like that. Yeah, today it's really across the earth, and I stay on earth. Yeah, great.
Yes, everybody want to be ownership. You see, one of the biggest problem. Everybody want to be ownership of the universe. You know. But as I tell you already, I don't care if any dreadlocks is listening to I today. Rasta don't have nothing to do with Rastafari. They him just take a piece of it and don't deal with the Fari. Him just deal with the Ras. You see it? Because when you're dealing with Rastafari, you're dealing with the head creator. So some people take off the head and go use the head. But Rasta globe and Rasta this. No, it's not so it should be. It's your own revolution within the side of you.
Rasta for I. It's a bit Rasta for I. That's all I
Yes,
see. Like Rasta for I. It's
yes.
not like for I am, you are the head. It's like Jesus. It's a bit not the same. It's not the same I buy into the Rastafari thing more than Jesus thing, but it's a bit to tell you like Jesus, if you see it for what it is je suis. You just it's just the I is missing, so you became the sinner because now you think Jesus is the savior. When you are your own savior, you can save yourself.
Yeah, all right.
Okay?
That's why that what is the ICEP? This is the ICEP of
Yeah,
Rastafari. You are responsible for your own doings. You are responsible for anything that happened to you. There is no special one.
exactly.
Is responsible for your sins. There's no special one waiting for you to catch you up and bring you up in the sky. Because millions of people living on the planet Earth today see a day is coming when their special God is coming for them. And they are going to be caught up in the rapture with their Lord. Leaving everybody down here, we are going to burn with fire and brimstone. You understand?
I, I got Karen here in the chat. She makes me laugh also. She said, there's someone that says, why are we here? So she says, good question. It's stupid here. LOL. So then she says, not the show. I mean the earth. Yeah, sometimes that I get what you were saying, Karen, but you made me laugh a little bit. But yeah, that's it. It's so stupid sometimes, but we can be so intelligent, so kind, so aligned, so coherent, and at the same time we can be the extreme opposite, like super stupid and nonsense and believers and like. But I think once we do the work for oneself, like you do it for you, and you start shining a bit more light, other people, other beings are probably gonna perceive you a little bit different and maybe start taking in what you're saying, breathing it in and brewing it in, and then make sense of it. And maybe they will not elevate, but they will align their life in accordance with natural laws. We don't need church, state, and all that to guide us in life. I think we can guide ourselves, first of all. It's called the responsibility, inner guidance and stuff. So you don't need other beings to guide you. You can take responsibility and yeah, but it's not something. It's easier said than done. I know, but it's doable, right?
But the most important thing, when you reach that higher heights, then you learn to work with each other. You learn to communicate with each other because we get to understand and overstand and understand that no man is an island and no man stands alone. And the person that asks the question, why we are here to fulfill the creativity or fulfillment of the creator and as part of the universe. Is a reason why we are here, is a reason why the trees here, is a reason why the ocean and the animals and that live in the ocean is a fulfillment of the creator creativity of the universe to show that we are part of the creative process and the ongoing recreation of mankind moving and flowing together. So if you don't want to reproduce yourself, to everything that reproduce itself, we are fulfilling the reproductive process of the creator within the universe. So young man or young lady, please don't ask yourself why you are here. Get into the process of creation, of productivity, and then you will realize why you are here. We are here to fulfill the fulfillment of the creator within the universe.
And I think as we take action in life and stuff, everything becomes more clear also on the purpose, like you say, and the reason why we're here. And you start seeing yourself differently, seeing other beings differently. Like it's perspective on life. Perception, it's not a word that I like so much, but we're going to use it. It's our perception, probably, of life that is faulty, and we become having a very faulty existence after. So it's to stay away from the wicked stuff and just align yourself with what's is good, what you know is good and true, not what you think is good and true, but what you know in your heart. If you stop listening to the incessant chatter that you have in your brain, like at one point follow the art also. I don't think the art can really guide you into stuff that sometimes it could, but I think we're more going with that when we go into something that is not very aligned with our true quintessence purpose here. Yeah, good.
Yes. We are here to put it together,
Yeah,
to make it work between humanity. Because it's only I and I can make it work. I and I have to make it work. And we are going through this process to be progressive, to let it be a reality within the love of humanity, to build one universal love that
and
I and I can expect and interact with each other to let our condition on this planet becomes better, because no one is going to, there's no superficial force from outer space or under the ground is going to come and solve it for us. I and I have to solve our problems that we have, because it's I and I create the problem that we have. There's no devil and there's no God that created for us or force no one to do anything. It's I and I is doing it to ourselves until we come to the realization that we are hurting ourselves, that we are distracted from the important things that bind humanity together, our humanity together. We are not going to reach our ice goal of the 33 stage of higher the heights, higher heights within I and I self, so we can love, let love be real, and let love be a way of life.
perfect. So thank you very much, Russ Midas. We'll be forward again Wednesday,
Yes,
1 p.m. If you're available, I'll be here.
yes, Wednesday.
And that's it. It will be another great opportunity for us to reason on the 33 keys to unlock
Yes,
our full essence, because that's
yes, yes,
the goal of life. I think once you come to unlock all that sense within yourself, you can surely taste life on a different level. And it's not so much like we are told what is it to be rich. We all told what is it to see that all this. But once you experience it yourself on a different level of perception, like I said before, it comes and re-energize your being also to a level where you cannot be stopped. It's a fire that's energized, that's very energetic within you, and for sure it's very beneficial to your being. So we're gonna keep going that way. I know it's the one of the key for sure to our well-being is washing our brain. So I hope you all wash your brain and with kindness and with lots of soap and lots of scrub, triple soap, triple rinse, and we should be okay after to start putting some new good stuff what we see ourselves, and not something that you've been told. Like you start back from scratch, and it's very enriching for a being to do that at any moment in their life. You're never too old to learn, never too young to teach. So there's never a moment that is not the right moment, because you're still alive, you're still here, you still have breath going through your nostril. So you still have work to do. And as long as I'm breathing and I have air going through those nostrils, I will certainly be not loud necessarily, but I will be active, and I will do something that profits us all in any ways I can do. And it's not necessarily to inflate any ego or stuff. It's just it's necessary. I see what's going on, and I don't like it, so I decided to not rebel against it, but to rebel against the program that had me doing those things. So today I feel a bit better than before. Yeah, for sure. So
good.
large up, everyone. Large up, Ras Midas, Nan Lewis, Rast FM, always Rast FM on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. with
Yeah.
AJ Tru-Mon on the air. So
Large up to each and everyone. And I am. I hope, I have to use the word hope, that you can take a good look into yourself to discover the truth and love for yourself so that you can rebuild yourself by cleaning up your mental cup and rebuild yourself into a new human being with love and unity for humanity, our humanity. Give
That's
thanks.
it. Give thanks. We're out. See ya. Boom.
Yes.